Hello, I'm Corey, and this is a 6x6 softbound quilt cover journal. I accepted the challenge to share this, so here you go. My granddogs ruined a quilt that my mom had made, and rather than throw it away, I made it into a baby quilt and then repurposed some of the squares, cut them down, the 12x12 squares, to make a couple 6x6 albums. It's got an elastic closure with an eyelet, and I just used a button to attach it so that it could get fat, expand. The inside is fabric, and I used Wonder Under. I made my signatures, put Wonder Under on the back of this one, and then I just ironed the two together. So it's really, even though it's soft, it's still nice and stiff. I had to take pages out of this 7 different times, learn from my mistakes. There's 120-ish pages in this, but it was just too fat. Don't put pockets on every page. Note to self, note to everybody. So I had to take out a lot of the inserts that went inside the pockets. So I will grab a couple pieces of ephemera and put in there to show you where the pockets are. The first one was just a little envelope close. I haven't written her note on it yet. Envelope close to put in the intro pocket that goes in the front here. And then the side is just a pocket here, but I used an address book so she can put names, telephone numbers, etc. down there. A side pocket out of 6x6 paper, and that'll bring me to my next concept in a few minutes. A double tuck pocket with a vellum overlay, and then a pocket behind on that. A little coin envelope pocket. I didn't make a third pocket. I could have, but I was already getting too chunky, so pocket and pocket. And here. This is largely influenced by Jibba de Neri, and she is actually one of the reasons I'm sharing this here. She is an amazing woman. If you haven't seen her YouTube videos, do. If you love junk journaling or repurposing paper, she is the person to see. And one of the things that she does is practice cards. So I've utilized her concept with a more modern twist using brush stroke, even though I love what she has done. And then just a piece of thin vellum over the top, fabric on the edge of the page, and using graph paper. Simple little pocket with old cut apart, and I've just lined the back with writing paper. It's amazing to me how journals take on a life of their own. I was going in a completely different direction, and it kind of just said, hey, no, we're doing this. And much like Jibbid's, I never thought I'd do this, but the book told me a story as I was moving along. These are just cardboard box onto chipboard to make the journaling lines. I wanted to go with faint. And then a simple tab. And this is thin copy paper. And I've used that when possible because my journals tend to get way too quick. Or, excuse me, too thick quick. Pocket. I should grab. Here we go. Something. Sorry about that. Let's try this again without knocking over the camera. Okay. So, a tuck spot, and then a pocket up here, and then it flips out so that you can do more journaling. It does lay flat. It's, as you can see, kind of angled and wonky, but it does indeed lay flat. So if you go over to this side there, this is just some vellum that flips up for more writing practice, more writing space, and a little pocket right here. This is a belly band with the only remaining, oops, I'm sorry, I'm out of focus there. Belly band with the only remaining paper clip, and I've had 2 and 3 in pieces of ephemera went inside originally, and I've had to just pretty much pull them all out so that there's room to actually close this. Again, with using cardboard and just a couple stamps and some scrap paper. And it showed through on the other side, so what I did to change it up a bit is just really lightly used a stencil. Another vellum pocket on some ledger paper. Not vellum pocket, excuse me, paper pocket on ledger paper. And I love die cuts, so I tried to use some die cuts because they're mostly flat until you put too many in. Coin envelope pocket just a little piece of fabric snippet. Those get fat fast. I cut down a piece of ruler in case she wanted to use a ruler for anything. I thought it was kind of fun. And this is another Jibba de Neri idea. It's just a little envelope, but when you open it up, it is a heart, a place to write, and it turns into a heart. And she didn't give directions or instructions or anything, but it was, I figured it out, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but I thought that was kind of fun. And it's thin, which is nice, more graph paper. And just a little, I love book pages in there, but I feel like, what do you do with them? So I used a really thin doily, if you can see that there, to make it thicker, and then just put some paper. The other side, just an old CD envelope with a couple of lined, I don't know if you can see that, lined tags in the back. And almost everything in here is sewn. Not all the pages so much, but all the ephemera. This is dot to dot page. I thought that was kind of a fun insert, and I made sure that they could complete the image. Flashcard with, again, journaling space on the back. Just the fabric. This is one that emulates this 30s fabric, and lace on a fold over. Another tab. This one has just a couple sheets of lined paper sewn on the back, sewn onto the top, and then made into a tuck in the spot. This one was kind of fun. I got this again from Jibba. When we were on our walk, I found some daffodils that had dried up, so I grabbed those. And then to hold it in place, I just put a little tab of Velcro. And again, give them room to write right here or underneath. And it's not as bulky as some of the other methods. It's not as bulky as paper clips. Torn paper. This I thought was kind of fun. This is an insert that you find inside of a wallet. And I put a piece of adhesive on the back so that if she does choose to do that and put pictures in here, she can. And then there's slots for pictures. So if she was wanting to tell a story with pictures, and then room underneath to journal. And this is a side tuck pocket. And I was trying to put some pages together after a while because it got so fat, so I just made a pocket there. And here is just a little flip up from a cut off piece of a file folder, and a tag to write on, and there's lined paper on the back. Blank page, and I don't do that very often. And then just another one of Jibba's flip ups. Super easy to make, super fun with a little writing tag. And this is a heavier paper, like a mixed media paper or watercolor paper. I just included some of that. Library pocket, a large library pocket with a tag, and journaling again. And this is another, again, another Jibba thing. Vellum over a specimen, and then I just use Velcro again, a little Velcro tab to hold it in place. So if the person doesn't want it, it's easy to peel that tab up and peel this up. Center of the spine, this particular spine, so there's some little charms on the bottom there. Coin envelope, others, I'm not even going to show you. It's probably more of this type of thing where it's just sewn and a tag to tuck in the box, out of the spot. Pocket here, and then a little itty bitty vellum pocket, just folded over vellum here. Add some interest. Side pocket, just a punch cut out, and a side pocket here. Here is just kind of other fun Jibba thing. This is acetate, and then a piece of the music note inside, and again with vellum to hold it in place. Flip up, just different places to write. There's ledger underneath, so you can certainly write there. And then just some pattern paper and book page and vellum and such, so you can write on those spots as well. Die cuts with room to write here. Washington is the Apple State, and I live in Washington, though my recipient does not. Lace end page. Die cut with, again, I thought this was fun, as a die cut with some school-lined paper, some really faded school-lined paper to give a little extra journaling space. And then some quotes at the bottom of a mostly blank page. I thought that would be good. I've included some of these in case she wanted to turn it into a junk journal album. So there's room here for a 4x6 picture. Just stenciling, and again with using that piece of cardboard. I took somebody else's advice. I don't remember who it was. I apologize. And took a piece of cardboard, put it on a piece of thicker poster board, chipboard, excuse me, and then put matte medium over the top so that it would be able to make these lines repeatedly. And again, just a tiny little tuck spot for more journaling. The other side is a tuck spot as well, and then the back of that dot-to-dot paper with a little tab, and if you can see it there, little flower. Oh, there's the other eyelet that I lost. This was yet another Jibba idea. Here is a tuck spot, this with some book page, but she does a beautiful job with free motion stitching, and I used some of that fabric and just put a little heart on here, and so there's room to write on the back. Again, I used some those really super thin Velcro dots. A little vellum coin envelope with another tag with place to write on the back. This is one of the Sizzix Tim Holtz slots, and I love these except they get too bulky way too fast. And so then just some cutout pieces and such there with some journaling in place. Vellum pocket, just a fold over pocket with the room for some more ephemera and still room to write up top. Back, look at this. I didn't put anything on there. And over here too, look at basically room to write with just a little pull-out tab. Jibba does the most beautiful little pull-out tabs, tags with little itty-bitty pockets off to the side. So there's still room for big things, but there's still a bit room to write a message or a quote or something. Back of that page, just some book page with stamped image, music note paper. I thought that was kind of fun. It'd be fun. I included some vellum for her. She can put the vellum right over the top and glue it down when she's got journaling. Book-lined page, tuck pocket, more writing space, just a little tab. A couple vellum pieces. She wanted pink, and I didn't have a lot of pink. I don't do a lot of pink. So I used what I had, and the guest check on top. So it's, again, a double pocket. And then a side tuck here. I ran out of, this is a Jibba thing too, ran out of thread, and I thought, you know what, Jibba would just leave it, so I did. This is an acetate window pocket with just a little thread flower in there. And again, more space. Oh, you know what, I meant to put a quote there, I forgot. More place to tuck. And over here is a matte page with a tuck spot. Coin envelope, or excuse me, a little vellum envelope with a tag for journaling. And this is a check recorder, a blank check recorder. Thought it'd be kind of fun to like do a list type thing here. And I turned that into a pocket with for a more ephemera. Coin envelope here, a tall coin envelope. This is I'll do a 6x6 video on this, a fun reverse technique of and just kind of fun. Here is another Jibba piece with opening, corner tuck spot with just the card with lined paper on it. And I kept this super thin, so with 2 spots to tuck things inside, because again of the weight of this and the size of this. This was kind of fun. I wanted to balance the plastic out, and so these were some little page protectors, and I cut it a piece apart and made a little April tag because I'm giving it to her in April, and then a spot in the back for tag with some writing space. And it moves and she can easily take it out, but I just thought it was kind of a fun change. Side tuck again with a tag. Whoops, I've made a sink there again with the tag on top. More die cuts. A little calendar for the remainder of the year on the front to pull off with this is just an envelope that I cut down. Vellum. Vellum is thin, which is why I tried to go with it in here. And I like the translucency of it, but this is just a folded over piece of vellum sewn. Place for another tuck spots, but still some room to journal here. I thought this book would go in Sing a Song of Popcorn, a book that I had that was destroyed. I thought I'd put a bunch of rhymes and such in there, but it just didn't work out that way. So corner spot with die cuts again, and place to room. I did edge with the punches. I don't do that very often, but I thought it was pretty here. Another brush writing practice with the vellum over the top. And then this is just a simple die cut. I thought it was pretty and it matched the colors, and there you go. Dot to dot, corner tuck spot on some lined graph paper. It's funny, this paper's so thin that you can see the flower image that's actually stamped on the other side kind of bleeds through here, but I thought it was really pretty, so I was kind of happy with it. Stamped image, matte paper, again, with I've got vellum so that she can write on it and put it right in top. This is another Jibba idea. It's a double envelope pocket. This is the centerpiece, and just thought that was kind of fun. And these are again using 6x6 paper, so I'll show how to do that in another video. Another tuck spot with a little bit of lace edging, and just plain book page. Again, I've got the doily on the side to make it a little easier to turn, and I'll include the vellum for that. Coin envelope, there is room at the top to tuck, and then here. And then I've included some extra quotes so she can choose which quotes she wants to use. Look at that. All that writing space just fabric edged. More of the lined pieces with some die cut hearts just sewn on top. And practicing the brush stroke with actual words this time. This one was kind of fun. It was just, okay, what can I do with some of the pieces and give a little bit more writing space? So I used some of the ledger paper that I had because it works well for writing. It's ledger paper, it should. Could have put a pocket inside, but again, it's getting so fast. Excuse me, so fat, so fast. A journaling tag that goes on the top, again, with just a little Velcro dot closure. And I just thought that was kind of a fun little inclusion to make sure there's plenty of room to write. And then you could also put pictures on here if you wanted to, so it could be a picture book. Tag with another flower charm. Let's see, I must have missed something there. Oh, here we go. Back of that ledger paper. And then this is a Jibba window. I used vellum this time instead of acetate. And again, it was designed because my book was getting way too fat, and I just glued these pages together, which worked out really nicely to make a window. And then I just outlined it with washi because why not? More ledger paper, more journaling paper. I put some lace on the side and then I tore it here, so I just used a bit of washi to fix that up. And a pocket for some ephemera with a quote. And again, another side tuck pocket just lined with paper and sewn on. Everything is pretty much sewn on. Die cut, there is room at the top. Maybe there's room at the top. Yeah, it's a tuck spot. Room at the top to tuck something in. And this is a file folder flip down so that there's plenty of room to write in here. I could have made it a top tuck too, but I did not because it's on book page, so it's rather thin. Double pocket here with some really thin tags. Had to go thin. Another Tim Holtz die cut, Sussex Tim Holtz die cut for things in there. Choosing thin things is not easy. As a scrapbooker, I tend to go thick cardstock, thick paper, and it really makes a difference in the size of your book. More matte page with a tuck spot here. Another little coin envelope. I've had that one since the beginning of time. Sorry if you can't see that. I got out of focus there. This is a die cut that I cut onto a piece of copy paper, and then I enclosed it in a vellum, so for some writing. And I thought that was kind of a cool effect. I'll just tab that on. If she doesn't want it, she can easily lift that off. And more writing space. The back of that dot to dot. This is a stencil that I got from Stencil Girl, maybe, or Darkroom Door. I think it was Stencil Girl. And I love this. I'm going to do this more simply because there's still room to write, but it's not so thick. And that back page of the same thing. It shows through. Another side tuck spot. Graph paper and a die cut. This one was another Jibba idea. She had it clear through here. I used a punch, and then I put a piece of paper, cardstock, of course, cardstock, behind it. And then you can see it through. So instead of just punches, it's the negative space of punches. And created a side pocket here that way. Picture here is what I'm envisioning, and then journaling card or story here, which is kind of fun. So maybe it's a hybrid junk journal photo album. Coin pocket. room on the top, and again, this just opens and unwinds and opens up for another spot. Tuck spot here. Vellum coin envelope with another bookmark tag place. And then this was as a large die cut, and I was thinking of like a pros cons kind of a thing, so you could write one on one side and one on the other if you're weighing on a heavy decision. And this is a gift tab. Her Starbucks gift card will go here, and then just kind of a note page. And that is the book. That's how it goes. But of course I'm not done, because I had to pull things out and pull things out and pull things out to get it to close. I guess the total width, if I were to look here, is about 3 inches, which isn't so bad, but it was so big when I started that I couldn't close it. So she's going to get a pile of just sewn ephemera. So note to self, rather than using cardstock on the backs of these, I'll use copy paper to make it thick enough. And rather than, no, I'll still do it like this. These are cards that I got at the thrift store and with paper on it. And it's thick, but I guess I just have to limit the number that I use. So she gets all of that, and she gets the postcards we're going in, and because it's 1930s fabric and the Hummel came out right around that time and it was huge at that time, I thought I'd give her this old Hummel card to go in there. It was one of the items in there. Again, lined paper. I don't know if you can see, there we go. Lined paper on the back of a whole bunch of cards that were tucked in all of those myriad of tuck spots in this book. And just more of the same. And these go in that belly band with the other. And more, and more, and more, and more. And on and on. It's ridiculous. Way too much. But I like this kind of stuff, so I keep making it and tucking it in. These are just the cards. Some of them have little pieces of tabs at the top, fabric or such, but some don't. So here, and again, more stack. Big stack of that stuff. This was a book that actually fit inside before I put everything in there. So it's a pocket on top of this little booklet with a tag. And these are one piece of 6x6 paper. And then I cut it right down the middle. And I made a little insert. So I held it together with the washi tape. So I cut it apart, laid it down, made an insert and sewed it on here, and then attach them back together. And it's just kind of a fun little booklet. It's not very thick, but it's got some extra spaces to write, and it fit in one of those mini pockets. Here is another Jibba idea. I've changed it up just a little bit, but it's, remember what she called it. She called it something fun. It's a tuck spot. And I use single-sided paper, so I covered it again, but just a place to write. And I could have put lines on here, but I thought with all the lines on the pattern that it didn't need that. I have to be smarter than this thing. Anyway, I held it closed again with a Velcro dot and just a little bit of lace so it wouldn't be too thick. But when you add all this stuff up, it gets way too thick. Just a piece of vellum that goes in one of the tuck spots covered with washi on the ends. And this was yet another Jibba idea. I cut 2 of the envelopes, one in vellum and one in book paper, and then sewed them together so that you could put, I don't know if you can see that there, those are little chickies and butterflies for Easter because it's almost Easter. I could have put it in everything on each of these little bits before I sewed around them, but I thought that was kind of fun. And then just on the front, I did the same thing. Some chicks, and there's bunnies in there. There's clear bunnies and butterflies. This is a die cut that I had from Quick Cuts from a long time ago, and I just made it into, I'm a reading specialist, and just made this into a little booklet to write down. It went into one of the tuck spots on the side. And here is just a little stencil ruler. I thought that was kind of fun, matching with that theme. Bingo card, and this one is just a piece of the fabric that I used. I ironed it with my flat iron, the hair flat iron, and put it inside of a piece of vellum to make a bookmark that way. It's kind of a fun little twist on something else that Jibba had done. She didn't use fabric, but same idea. Bookmark. More bookmarks and tags. Lots of tags, lots of tags. And this was just something I made using one of my punches, the top, and you can layer them together. So I made this little accordion fold out. I thought I'd tuck that in there. Yeah, no, not room. And then I put watercolor paper on top. So like if she wanted to play with watercolor or practice watercolor, and I've got a little watercolor palette to include. So, but again, you know, it's not super thick, but when you add all of this together, it just makes it for a way bulky journal. And this was just a different closure on a vellum envelope, which I thought was kind of fun, with just little cut apart tags and such inside to include. And Jibba specimen, because you know you got to include those for daffodils. And again, another idea with the same thing, only this time I made vellum pockets. So let's see if I can grab something thin. There's vellum pockets on here on the front so that you can tuck a tag inside each one. Same thing, 8 slots front and back. More of these little booklets. I found that these cards, these index cards that we get, not index cards, game cards that we get at the thrift store, they're perfect for making little booklets. And these are the Dick and Jane cards. And then I just use some repurposed line notebook paper. So laid them down flat, put the washi down with me leaving a little bit of a gap between the two, and then I sewed, and then I put the washi down, and then I put the booklet in, and then I put washi on top. So it's actually sewn in there. I do need to glue the back. Washi is, because it's removable, you've got to put glue on it. And I made a couple of those. One I didn't round the I rounded the front corners, but not the back corners. And then the other, I rounded both the front and back. So there you have it. My 6x6 journal, done fairly quickly. My biggest takeaway with this is number of pages isn't the issue, but how thick the pages are, and you don't have to put everything inside. So thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.